Hello, fellow unravelers, and welcome to Unravel. This is a space for reflections on unraveling from mind/ego, integrating shadow, and cultivating deeper self awareness. Before we begin, just want to say thank you for being here. Thank you for watching. If you're new, or whether you're a returning watcher or listener, if you're listening to the podcast, or if you've been reading the summaries on Substack, which is now up as well. Welcome here. This space is for everybody and anybody. And yeah, just take what resonates and leave what doesn't. But before we begin to unravel what is wanting to be present right now, today, whenever it is that you come across this, let's just open up the space and take a moment to just pause and breathe. So the invitation is there for you to join me. You can skip ahead if you want, but I usually recommend that this part be really felt and experienced, because not often do we get or I should rephrase that, not often do we pause or just be with whatever is currently being experienced in our daily lives. So however you want to do this is completely up to you. But if you are seated, you can place your feet flat on the ground. Without shoes is even better, so you can just feel the earth beneath your feet. And if you're sitting on a chair, just feeling that chair underneath you. So I'm feeling a pull to shut the eyes down, and if this is you as well, then the invitation is there. If not, that is very much okay. I'm just inviting you to become aware of the breath. Become aware of what's currently being felt in the body. Just bringing awareness to now moment. So what's happening right now? What's being felt? What's your emotional state like? Your mental state? Physical? And not necessarily adjusting the body unless you really need to or want to. But we're just bringing awareness to what's here now. It's just a deep call to actually hold space for this. Just taking some deep breaths in and out through the nose, out the mouth, or in through the nose, I should say. Just relaxing with each exhalation, just softening a bit more if you can. And just giving yourself a little bit more time here. Allowing yourself to slow down. What does that feel like? What does that feel like physically when you allow yourself to slow down? What does it feel like mentally? What is going through the mind right now? Is there anything coming up emotionally? Are you feeling any type of activation? Whatever that looks like for you. And when I say activation, I mean, are you feeling any sort of physical response to even just the idea of slowing down? And when you're ready, and only when you're ready, you can slowly open up the eyes if it is shut. And just for a brief moment, just looking around the room that you're in without labeling anything, without bringing any new thoughts into this exploration of presence. And just bringing your awareness back to the screen, unless you're listening to this, of course, or reading. Yeah, there's no right or wrong way. It is just about really slowing down, in essence. Which I'm just being reminded of sometimes when I want to allocate this, some time. Let's go with the concept of time. When one wants to allocate time to meditate, that doesn't occur for me personally the way it used to. It's more just to present stillness. But when you're asked to like meditate, or someone tells you to meditate, what is your first reaction? Do you feel like you know physically, do you feel this natural contraction, or do you feel a release and an expansion? I don't know why that is being brought up, but it's just interesting, because sometimes we want to rush things along. Say, for example, some people tend to watch things on a faster speed because there's no tolerance for slowness. And I highly encourage and invite you to really take a deep look at what that actually means when you're agitated, when there's agitation around slowing down. Typically, of course, it's the ego not wanting you to slow down, because when we do have more space, and I'm talking about mental space, thought activity, and just even for some of us who are very much body aware, I would say, even physically slowing down brings about a lot of agitation. But that is where all the magic happens, if you want to call it that. This is where grace is able to, show itself. The grace that's already within you, able to show itself when you stop allowing that ego to take over, when you truly surrender into what presence is. Whatever you want to call it, divinity, consciousness, God, source, the universe, however you phrase that in your world, it allows more of that to come in. But it does require surrender. And I'm not by any means saying it's an easy process, but slowness definitely opens up a lot. It makes things a lot more clearer. And I have shared already a video where that was quite prevalent as well. So there is a lot of noise, not today, not in my current experience, but there is a lot of noise generally in our world at the moment. Whenever it is that you watch this, place it how that fits for you. But yeah, allow yourself your own time. Really tune into what is happening for you. How does this want to be phrased? I guess really investigate what stillness and presence looks like for you, because, you know, I think different people have a different idea of what that is. Anyway, and I'm hearing the word merry-go-round. I don't know why. I'm gonna write that down. There may be a sort of frequency of that whenever you come across this. Just in reference to the last video that I did, so you might want to watch that as well. There was this energy of these continuous like mental loops, which we will touch on this video, and we'll see what that might look like for some. But yeah, okay. Let's see what decks want to be explored or utilized today. Yep. Okay, let's start there. Let's see where we go, how we go, what the go is. Who knows? Let's do this one first. Actually, no. This is just needs to be said, I guess. Just be wary of what you're paying attention to right now, where you're allowing your attention to go, or what you're absorbing right now, or what is being absorbed. All right, give us 3. Okay. Okay, 2 cards showing up already in the reverse, and I don't usually do reversals in oracle cards, but it's very fascinating to me when this does happen. Okay, all 3 of them. Okay, so bottom of the deck, we've got, maybe I had the deck upside down, who knows. So I'm just going to turn it up the right way around. So at the bottom of the deck, we've got time. Okay, we've got time. Okay, so the cards that have come out is New Moon, card 45, Stormy, and Nature Spirits. So new moons usually tend to, whenever that is depicted, whenever people kind of talk about it, it's presencing newness, new beginnings, new moon, of course, but like replenishment as well. So there is this, where this sitting right now, there's this undercurrent of newness, of new energy, new ideas, new concepts. I will get some clarification on that. This, and if this is not external, it is this internal, I think this is what it was being felt before, like there's this internal wave of perhaps thought patterns that are presenting itself, as in, you know, having a shift in perspective or seeing things in a different light. Kind of does look like an eye, doesn't it? Seeing things in a different light. Which is interesting the way that was said, because you don't tend to see new moons when they come up. It's like a very dark, I don't know if you ever try to see a new moon, but whenever I've tried, you just can't see it. So this may be reflecting something that's not, hasn't been seen, as in there's been no kind of clarity or no, like there's a sense of darkness around. But that seems to be shifting. Or there's this undercurrent, this tone of this shift happening. More so within, I think. Some might see it on the peripheral. And tension's just being brought. There is, I mean, at the time that this is being read, or looked at or reflected on, however you see these videos, there is a new moon this week, I feel. I just don't remember which one it is. I want to say Gemini, but I could be wrong. Probably am wrong, but who knows? Okay, and then, oh, I did show you these cards already. So there may be, perhaps with I will have to get some clarity, but whatever it is that's been looping, that's been kind of like an ongoing thought current, it's not been a cruisy ride, has it? Feels like there's been a lot of disturbance, and there's like this trajectory of moving forward, but then almost like these disruptions keep occurring. So there's something to be said about resilience as well. But is this an internal kind of self-sabotaging? Sorry, I'm trying to turn the card so you can see it, but it's slightly glossy. It's a very dark card. And I'm not saying that the thoughts or the patterning is dark, but it may be. And perhaps the inquiry is around, you know, what how can you light up? How can you bring awareness to something that might not be even observed in a very obvious way? What is needing light in terms of these type of either repetitious thought patterns, these repetitious behaviors? Yeah, there's a sense of like this foggy, that was thought before, it's like this I keep hearing the word cloud. What is that to do with cloud? It's not the silver lining. It's something about clouds. Okay, we'll get some clarity. So with where this nature spirits card is, there's a few messages with this. This could be asking, you know, something as simple as, when last have you been in nature? Maybe there's, you know, we're spending too much time and energy in this hearing like darkening, or this frequency of pressure. I don't know why that was said, but and there's almost this reaching out quality to this card. As in, are you grounding yourself? We spoke about meditation before. That could work for some, it might not work for everybody, but generally, just speaking for myself, meditation is a constant thing. It's not just something you sit and do for 5, 10, 15, however long at a time. Yes, you can do those formal types of meditations, but the meditation is always happening. You're always in presence. You're always focusing on present moment. That is, from my perspective, true meditation. And that is not easy. That can feel quite overwhelming, and it can feel like there's not any end in sight, especially if you're practicing things like well, being present, being present with your thoughts, being in stillness. How does that want to be expressed for those that may not understand? There's this longing energy with this card. I'm hearing the word disconnect. I guess the question or the reflection here is too about, are you connected to who you really are? And what kinds of things can you explore to ensure that that is something that builds momentum, as opposed to being in a space where there's this frequency of just the same old story? But I do sense that this is shifting. There may be, you know, there may be some that are just spending more time in nature itself, in nature, or just, you know, in a different environment, or even reaching out to people, or reaching out to kind of energies that help you feel connected. And if it is new moon in Gemini, there is a little part of me that feels like it is, but I'm not going to place that there. Then this does speak of connection and community and networking and things like that. So, you know, if it's not reconnecting with self, as in self-attention, as in constant meditation of presence, then this is connecting with others. Like in this picture, you can see these branches reaching out. But I will read a little bit of that card just to get any extra messages there. The elementals, fairies, devas, and other nature spirits request your presence. It's time to venture outside, get into nature, and recharge your batteries. With the trees, the grass, the mountains, the desert, and the sea, there's a magic that awaits you when you commune with nature. The symbol is a dryad, I think that's how you pronounce it, of free spirits and keepers of earth knowledge. Greek in origin, but worshipped by many respected earth-based religions. So yeah, I mean, when I look at that card, it makes me think of just connection to something that's larger than our egos, essentially, that's larger than what we perceive, what we understand, what we are programmed. But let's get some more cards. And then there's something, yeah, there's something about timing here for sure. And that card wanted to be made aware of as well. It's the psychic card, if you're listening. Card 48. So yeah, you know, there could be this like movement of detaching from things that no longer resonate. This seems to be a bit of a theme happening actually. And where was that going? Maybe there's this movement of insight that is coming in, and that's what this new moon card is about, because this is speaking to what's not obvious, what is the undercurrent. So there may be some type of, there's an implication that something is shifting, and I feel like it's either a mental, something mental, like a thought process, like a belief system, or some type of programming, or shifting, yeah, perspectives, yes, but shifting also, how does this want to be said? I'm hearing shifting ideas, but I feel like it's a deeper layer. I feel like there's more in the depths that need to be explored, but for where what this is presenting right now is, it might not be fully clear. There might be like whispers. I'll just use that word because people will understand that. There might be like whispers of some shifts in beliefs. But let's keep going, and we might get some more clarity as we go along. Before I do the tarot, I'll just use another deck. It's almost a feeling very much, this card wanted to be shown, South Node, Karma. So you might want to check your placements with South Node. yeah, maybe there's a shift in karma, as in, you know, if you're practicing, there's a bit of energy here. There's like this, there's like a reshuffling. That's what this is what I'm trying to say. There's a reshuffling of energy, of frequency, of karma even. Perhaps you've been in a position where you've been able to work through a lot of those, what we call vasanas, tendencies, past life tendencies. And that implies that the karma, quote unquote karma, because everyone looks at that word differently, but the karma is shifting. All right. Oh my. What is the date today? 19th of May. This is very interesting, okay, because the Pluto card came out, and it's death and rebirth, Scorpio energy, and we just had the full moon in Scorpio. If I'm just mentioning the planetary alignments because there might be some relevance there, maybe this shift started happening then, who knows. But then we had Taurus in the resistance position, and we are shifting out of Taurus into Gemini. So, which is, it's still Taurus here because my son is Taurus and his birthday's tomorrow. So that'll be happening this week. Anyway, that was just interesting that those two cards came out together in the undercurrents. So there is something that is shifting, something that is dying off. Like, you know, it could, because the Taurus card came out, it could be something to do with home. You know, maybe you have certain belief systems about like comfort, what brings you comfort, what brings you stability. That may be changing, or actual stability. How does that want to be said? Like there are shifts happening with what has always felt like stability or a stable environment for some, or just that word comfort keeps coming up. Like the things that, you know, there may be this element of discomfort with whatever this undercurrent is. Maybe that's why there's this Stormy card here as well. Is that these things that are shifting are not necessarily comfortable. But I did say that resilience before. And again, attention's being brought to this time card. So, you know, there's this quality of, does that one is, what's the word, that like not temporary, how would you phrase it? There's this quality of temporariness, far out, man. Things that are not permanent. And I'm just being brought to awareness of Scorpio, because Scorpio is in alignment with Pluto. So Scorpio is a fixed sign along with Aquarius. Is it Taurus as well? Aquarius, Taurus, Leo, Scorpio. So Scorpio, Pluto, Taurus here. And what was the other one that came out? So they're fixed signs. So there may be this stubbornness or this grappling onto these beliefs, which could be contributing to this stormy experience that's being felt while these things are being shifted. And it is also Pluto in Aquarius. So, you know, those shifts are those shifts could be occurring for some in things that relate to vision, to not like actual vision with the eyes, as in, you know, projected ideas of what the future could look like. These are just ideas, of course, but you know, Aquarians are known to be visionary and can see things before they kind of happen. And then that psychic card came out. So it's almost like there's this energy of, yeah, knowing something's changing or knowing that things cannot remain the same. But there is also this this presence or impression of stubbornness or yeah, interesting. Okay, let's carry on. Let's go. Okay, give us more on the Stormy. Oh, that one blew out like a mofo. And one more. Okay. Bottom of the deck, we've got Jupiter, luck. Now, there's something significant happening with Jupiter as well as Neptune. I don't know what that is, so you need to check that out. Let's put this back. Okay, so with Stormy, we had Neptune, and it's very contrasting, these cards. Imagination. It's almost this, and this came out in the other read, this like completely like two different states of being. I'm getting like Yellow Brick Road vibes with this, like there's just this implication of how are you restricting imagination or like the possibilities, you know, the possibility of being in a different space, being in a different state of mind, if you will, being in a different frequency. But there's some detachment that needs to be released, and there's almost this lack of clarity. But if you look at the card, the Neptune card, right? At the top, there's all these clouds, some of it covering the rainbow. And then in this card, we've got, well, Stormy, but we've got that cloud over there. So I feel like this has strongly got to do with just being patient and just continue. The resilience came out, the word resilience came out before. I think just being aware of I'm hearing wonderment. As if there's a loop or like narrative of, oh, okay, this is interesting. Like this narrative of wanting to rush, very similar to the last read, but wanting to rush, and like on the one hand there's imagination and, you know, hopes and dreams and what have you, and those types of concepts, and then on the other hand it's like there's no clear, there's like these, you know, like little gaps of light coming through, gaps of color. There's something about purple as well. I'm just gonna write that down. Purple. I align purple with like creativity. So, you know, this is I'm being reminded of Leo for some reason, and Leo is a sign of creativity and shining and being this bright energy, like the sun, right? The sun card in why is the sun coming up? That's interesting, because in this card it's like a moon. So it's almost that energy of like the sun and the moon, like one thing cannot exist while the other. I hope this is making sense. This is just what's being felt and witnessed, and but there's this almost this feeling of like two things cannot be present at the same time. As in two types of thoughts, right? So if you're someone who tends to block any thoughts that come, that feel dark and dreary and things like that, or the opposite, you know, always light and cheerful and imaginative or something like that, there may be this like loop of going back and forth in between those two types of energies, and you know, there might be this conversation or inner conversation or kind of chatter about, look, let's just get on with it, let's just blah blah blah. Like I don't know how I'm feeling it. I'm not sure. It's not. It's again this very similar to the last read. It's like it's not being able to be verbalized. There's this like almost confusion and not being able to speak clearly. I'm gonna put that last read in the video because I feel sometimes like the energies just carry on for a little bit. And truth be told, it wasn't that long ago since I did the recording on Friday and then posted it this morning, and now I'm recording for the next one. So yeah, the energies can carry through. So it's the same things, the same type of themes that are coming through of this confusion, but having like these glimmers of light, glimmers of creativity, glimmers of passion, even with the Leo representation in the mind. And then we also have, you know, the motivation card here, which I'll talk to in a bit. So yeah, there's this need to just keep investigating, you know, keep querying into these thoughts, but also not judging them, just being with whatever types of thoughts are coming up. Like if there's this thought of every time I try to do this thing it never happens, and like I'll put so much time and energy or say money into it, and then it just nothing comes of it. So it's like you'll be in this the pain pleasure cycle, right? The pain pleasure cycle, like woohoo, this is happening, it's all happening, blah blah blah. Then something happens and you're back in this type of vibe, and then that ends, and then you're back in that woohoo, let's go, and then you're back here. So it's this like continuous loop of pain, pleasure, which is something us humans do in general anyway, but this seems to be a theme that's been carried throughout May. So yeah, there's just a need to query into it, to be with those thoughts when they come up without judgment. Just go, I see you, buddy. I see you. Not in that way. It's just more like, that's kind of what I do sometimes when it's like the ego really tries to fuck with the mind, or just, you know, create stories that don't exist, blah blah blah. Anyway, moving along. So we've got motivation here underneath, nature spirits, waxing crescent. So this feels like a very frivolous, light-hearted type of energy. And it feels like the unraveling, like it feels like this like this frequency of just releasing and just letting go. Just, you know, being attentive, of course, having awareness of these types of thought patterns, because when you can identify the narratives, that awareness slowly starts chipping away at those loops, because it's like, how is this even true? Is this really true? Is this based on fact? Is it based on thought or feeling? And to whom, right? To whom do these thoughts arise? Where is that book? I'm just going to have a quick look at the and we had that karma card come up too, right? So where did I put that? We had luck, Jupiter luck. Interesting. Okay, so the waxing crescent is the second phase in the lunar cycle. It is the first sliver of light in the sky following the dark new moon, and it represents the first light of our motivation. Fascinating. We spoke to that. We spoke to this darkness, this and it might not actually be like darkness. It might just be, you know, like the heaviness of when your mind is running on just constant thought loops, and there seems to be a challenging time just cutting that loose. But this is going to happen whether you can see it, like whether it's being fully expressed right now. but that was in the undercurrent position. So you might not be, or there might be this slight little nudge that some change is coming, that you cannot keep operating from the space. These loops have got to end, because you're going to drive yourself insane, right? And yeah, I said that card felt like a very light-hearted, free, just throwing caution to the wind, letting go. The interesting thing is that it came with the Nature Spirits card, right? So allow yourself to explore freedom, explore softness, explore liberation in whatever way that looks like for you. And I'm speaking to things that raise the vibration, right? If we're talking from this 3D world perception, what are the types of things you can explore that bring that increase those gaps where the sun can gaze through, right? With the cloudiness. Or where you're just feeling more in tune. I mean, generally what that requires is space, is to meditate on presence. But some may need a little bit more. You know, that could be grounding practices. Maybe I can pull a card or two for some, as in things that you can do to explore, if not creativity, then just softer aspects. But this is a time for enhanced creativity, and you know, for some it's very cathartic, it's very healing. And when we are in a space of creating, or you know, being artistic, we are in presence, we are in present moment. Get a card or two. No, that's too many. This is 2, maximum 3. Otherwise, it's just too much. Okay. So we've got spend time with animals. Write a gratitude list. That might resonate for some. That might resonate for some. Or even just bringing awareness to, you know, the things that do bring that higher frequency, that light, that softness, that yeah, I'm definitely feeling like this light frequency, like this lifting up. Let's get one more. Okay, that is a lot. We've got drink tea. You know, some might have a tea practice. I know someone that does that, like tea rituals and things like that. I'm not sure if she still does it, but if you're on the coast, reach out and I'll give you her contact details. This one says look to the stars. So, you know, perhaps look up those placements, look up your Pluto placement, look up your Neptune placement, Jupiter, and you know, see what new moon is coming up. And the other one was connect with the earth. So there you've got 2 connect with the earth cards. And you don't have to, you know, do anything. It's just about being in nature. There's something about just sitting at the beach or near water and just being there, doing nothing. Being in the presence of presence, consciousness, God, source, universe, whatever you want to call it. Okay, let's clear that up, and I want to get some cards. Ugh. This cloth is moving and it's annoying the frig out of me. Okay, let's get some tarot and see what's what. See if we can get any more clarity on this. So yeah, remember merry-go-round came out in the start? That's what this loop is like. It feels like there's this up and this down and this up and this down and this, ooh, it's great, and I feel nauseous. Like, I need to look up the color purple and see. Although I am rehoming that deck, but yeah, purple for me is creativity. All right, new moon. So we've got the wheel, but it's come out in the persistence. Yep. Gonna get one more. Okay, this cloth has got to go. I put it on here because so that it dulls some of the shuffling when I'm knocking it on the table, but it's annoying, man. Keep shifting. All right, nature spirits. This card came into mind before when I was talking about the new moon, I think. It has come out in the reverse. Bottom of the deck energy is Four of Pentacles. So yeah, holding on to something. Holding on to some types of ideas about stability. What stability looks like. What stability is even. Not even looks like. Yeah, there's definitely this grip on what that is, and that might be shifting currently, or there's this shift happening. Let's look into yes, the wheel came into underneath new moon, but it came out in the resistance position, and this could speak to this interesting, this resisting this resisting of like finalizing beliefs, patterns. This speaks to karma. This resistance to letting go, and you know, relinquishing this perception of control. That may not even be obvious because of where it is. It's placed in the, like, the undercurrent, like what's kind of brewing underneath. There might not be any what was being said there? Yeah, this resistance to relinquishing control, but however, that is what is contributing to the karma. That card came out, karma. Which card was it? I don't know what card that was actually. Yeah, so just being mindful that whatever this up and down energy is, this whether it's actually like physical stuff happening, or whether it's just the mental pain, pleasure cycles, be mindful of creating any stories around that. Or if you've already got a story, be mindful of how that is being what's the word I'm thinking? It's a word with a P. Perpetuated. Thank you. Yeah, so this perpetuation of these narratives implies that yeah, whatever is kind of wanting to be explored and expressed through self is not able to do that because there's too much mental stuff going on. And then under Stormy, we've got 7 of Wands, which came out on its side. Why did you come out on the side? When the 7 of Wands is in the upright, it speaks to boundaries, like needing to protect yourself. This is, man, this, okay, I'm gonna just say it. This energy has been fluffing about for a while now of feeling like, and we also had that 4 of Pentacles, feeling like there's something that needs to be protected, but it's because it's come out on the side, it might be this thing of going, yep, no, I'm good, I trust. No, I need to protect what I've got right now. Yeah, all things can be so great if I just release and surrender. No, that's not going to happen for you because this keeps happening, right? So that kind of energy of like, you know, moving forward, moving back, moving forward, moving back, feeling like you can share your ideas and be expressive with it, and then feeling like you either not prepared or you need to protect something while it's in that stage, or you need, you know, yeah, it's very interesting. Yeah, this could be this back and forth type of conversation that you're having with yourself, or maybe even other people. I don't feel like that's the case with the cards that have come out. Maybe this is just like a mental fuckery going on. And then we've got the 9 of Wands in the reverse. So this is speaking to pretty much the same thing, like not feeling like you can open yourself up and, you know, have conversations with people, needing to protect yourself, holding on, like if it's in the upright, you can see it's like holding on to thoughts, ideas, patterns, beliefs, not letting go of old stories type thing, or even old patterns of behavior. So if this has been a continuous loop of things are going right, oh no, they're going wrong, things are going right, oh no, they're going wrong. There is no such thing as right and wrong. It's going to, as in like a right event or a wrong event, things are going to happen irrespective, because we're not the ones in control. We like to think we are, but it's going to happen irrespective. What is going to be the difference is how we respond to that, how we react to it, what stories are we creating about that. It's about observing our thoughts, because once we latch onto a thought long enough, it becomes a belief. So what beliefs are you needing to let go of and not protect so much? Yeah, so there's a need to just, with this, step out into perhaps even a different environment, go and meet new people, like steps. So say, for example, I'm just using examples to give people context of what I'm trying to say here, but say, for example, you work in childcare, right? You work with kids, and you're wanting to try a different position, or something. Let's just say you work with children, and that's all you've ever done, and those are the only people you hang out with, is people who work with children in childcare. Explore meeting up with or surrounding yourself with people who are completely different, who have never worked with kids. For some, maybe people who don't have kids at all, and gain different perspectives. The only way we can actually step out of our own types of conditioning and patterning is if we nurture friendships or connections with people who are not the same as us, who think differently, who speak differently, who see the world differently, who have different experiences, or even, different cultures. So I don't know why my attention is being brought to the wheel card again. Yeah, I'm not sure why. But yeah, trying to get out of your comfort zone. Try to get out of your comfort zone. Maybe join a walking group. Join a walking group that does go out in nature. That, I don't know if you guys have this where you are, but on the Gold Coast in Australia, we have these walk and talk groups. So you can go out in the morning, and it's led by counselors and therapeutic professionals, but you can go and meet people, and you can have conversations and get to know one another while you're walking and doing stuff. So, there's a need to speak to just opening yourself up, and however you do that obviously is up to you, but there's definitely something to be said about I don't know why I'm hearing it's like spreading yourself. Why am I hearing spreading yourself? Maybe you're spreading yourself too thin, but yeah, spreading yourself. Maybe sharing yourself with people. Interesting. Maybe that is something that I know for a fact that is something that is difficult for a lot of people to do, especially when there is a lack of trust. I feel like a lot of us are going through this right now, where it's like really questioning whether you can trust people. And, we can't know that for sure. We cannot predict the future. The goal is to be in presence always, and to operate from that space. And to know that nothing is permanent. Everything is temporary. I said that before with the time. With the time card, I don't know. Everything is temporary. Let's see what else. animals want to come out and have a chat. And actually, we did have that card, right? Where is it? Spend time with animals. We did have that card. So let's see what kind of energies are working through the animals. I've just seen the sloth card, but that does not speak to laziness. I don't actually know what the card says. Okay. Ah, interesting. There it is again. Wisdom. Boom, shakalaka, 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 shakalaka. Wisdom. So not laziness, wisdom. Then we've got chameleon energy. I just love these cards. And we spoke about energy before. And then we've got perception. Let's see. So sloth, wisdom. I'm not going to read the whole thing, just a little bit. Okay. Being at one with the earth and embodying her core essence can awaken our own inner wise woman or crone energies. I think this is irrespective of gender. I'm just going to say it. In times like this, we are reminded to strip back to the very basics and dig deep on what is truly important to us. Feelings of not being enough or not doing enough are holding us back from evolving in our deepest and wisest spiritual selves. Less giving and more taking may be in order to regain a better perspective. Okay, let's see what that one says. I'll just read a little. Okay. I mean, it's pretty self-explanatory, like, you know. We are reminded by the presence of this to celebrate our imperfections and unique qualities and to see what we have and to see that we each have our own unique place in this world, regardless if we look similar from afar. The kin essence of this card, the greatest point of understanding is in our ability to see things from all angles. And we spoke about that, like stepping out and meeting new people, for example, as an example. The core point is to get out of your comfort zone. Chameleon. Chameleon also is someone is a animal that changes its colors to fit in, right? To fit into the environment. And yeah, let's see what it says. So this is fire energy. Yeah. Chameleons are well known for their iconic colorful bodies and ability to change color to suit their needs. A chameleon will use color change to communicate and send signals to other chameleons, as well as to camouflage into its environment to avoid detection from predators. We can see how powerful this gift is in that they can draw from their energy sources within to affect not only how they physically appear, but how others react to that. They teach us that we too have a great source of inner energy that we should draw upon in order to achieve desired outcomes within our environment and those we encounter. So, and the kin essence of this one is draw from within to maximize external influence and shift of perception. So the roundabout gist, I hope you're getting of what this is saying. Because I feel like I did say at the start, like, be very mindful of where you're sharing your energy. Particularly if it is with in spaces and places where, you know, there's this feeding of the lower frequency of what's going on, like that, the stormy, confused, back and forth type of expressions. So be very mindful of where you're spending your energy and how you are showing up. Like, yeah, there's just a need to have discernment with all of this. All right, I've gone so way over time. So I just want to thank you again for being here. I hope that made sense to you. Again, whenever you come across this message, there's something of value there for you. But thank you so much, and I'll catch you in the next video. Also, if you like reading the summaries, that's available on Substack, or will be available on Substack. And if you like just listening without the visual, if you don't like my gob, then you can listen to the podcast version of this as well. So yeah, I'll leave that there. But thank you so much. Catch you next time. Bye. Mwah.